Well, this is kind of awkward, but you kind of have to start somewhere, right? I wanted to give, I guess, anybody who cares to fill into our lives, I guess, what's going on with our beautiful urban homestead. Right, Rocco? We have about a 1/4 acre lot. So obviously not everything is used for the, yard. We have a fairly large home. It is 3 bedrooms, 1 and what could be a half bath, but only 1 bathroom currently. And we are currently in major renovations to kind of put everything together. This building that you can see here past our barbecue is my husband's shop, so he has the luxury of doing a lot of projects for his job at home, which kind of has allowed me to, I guess, really set down some foundations on this property, I guess, to what we want to do in the future, which is farming, living off the land, enjoying our time outside, and just overall having a good sustainable lifestyle. So I wanted to come through and kind of show anybody who's interested on kind of what's going on. So we do have a work in progress deck you can kind of see here, and we'll just start here. We didn't realize with having a social distance safe deck that our water spigot has to relocate. But there are a couple different elements on the house and the siding just as a whole that we want to change. So we didn't think that this was a big deal. And since we're still into spring, we have a lot of rain coming through. So it's not a big deal on our early garden we have. We do have our battery operated lawnmower, because boys likes his toys. And this is kind of our side yard here. So you'll see I have some old hollyhocks. They weren't planted by me, they were from the previous owner. Same with the peony up front there. It got a split by my husband prior to me moving in. Here you'll see we have a fair bit of trees that act as a privacy screen between our neighbor's yard. So no need for this chain link fencing that we do have around the more perimeter of our yard, because of course we have a dog. So it does need a little bit of TLC. We got donated a portion here from family friends Denise. Thank you so much. And we're just trying to, I guess, work at it piece by piece, because there's no rush in the gardening game, and that's really all that matters. Likewise, with the additions we've added here, they're a new thought for this year, which is why you'll see all the grass in between. Nothing's planted. We were kind of just playing with different spacings. Mainly because we have this flower garden that we started kind of last year. Started as a split one, and it kind of has grown from there. One downfall about this garden, however, if you call it a downfall, it really depends on how you look at things. Girl didn't read instructions on those 2 beautiful raspberry plants, and she didn't do the bucket. So if you can kind of see there, I have lots of shoots coming up. Well, the good news is most of what's in this garden is a weed. You may notice, if you're familiar with the garden world, I do have a hosta there, and I do have a Chinese peony there. There is a couple chicken hens, a couple good plants, but most of this definitely needs some TLC. I was going to address it, but then I went up and I found a tiny little ladybug nestled in the leaves, so I don't think it's quite time yet. So I'm just going to see what grows in, and we're just going to let Mother Nature take its course on that one. Likewise, because we like symmetry, we have another box right there. I will go through all of these just in a little bit more detail, but I'm going to take you along the side of the fence first. One thing that we did change up this year is we had a couple potted strawberries, and we weren't really sure what to do with them, but we watched a couple videos, and apparently you can recover them. And we're really happy, especially with that top one, because we planted these guys in an old trunk that we had to cut down, because as you can see, lots of bug and beetle damage there. But we did put these strawberries, and so far so good. They're coming in. Not sure if we'll get any berries, but we are really excited to at least try and not completely waste a plant. If they don't work, maybe we'll just get other strawberries and see if they will. I won't speak too much on this because it's certainly not my baby. My husband watches a lot of videos on composting methods, and since we do have a lot of gardening space, he said instead of course us buying everything, we have so much yard waste from trees, again, that had to come down off the property, and of course cutting our lawn, food scraps. So he has looked up a couple methods, so we're trying this 3-bin system, and so far it's working pretty well for only being in for about a month now. Sorry if you see me pointing in front of the screen. I know you guys can obviously see what I'm filming. I'm trying my best to focus on what we're talking about, but you know, I'm a girl who talks with her hands. We have a little bit of storage just over here on some larger logs that we kept aside because they do make really great tables, to be honest. And for our wedding, which we had in our backyard, many of them act as seats. But when you kind of spin around here, there's a lot smaller logs. So as you move on over, you can kind of see in the distance there, we have such a big property, that we are working to basically cull down these logs just slowly, because we recently were able to get the fire pit. It was something that the city of Kingston opened up permits for, and we were able to get one. So now we've started burning a little bit of the fire that we had, or the wood on our property, for like little fires. But of course, you guys can see how much we have. To be honest, I just love them stacked. They're so beautiful. So don't mind them sticking around. A little bit of waste. We are drying out some empty paint cans just to make them safe for hazardous drop-offs. Likewise, here you'll see some more projects I mentioned just previously. Husband is in the trade, so he is a carpenter. That's what his main thing is. He likes wood, what can I say? So it's smart, used a lot of the trees that were on our property that were still in a good condition. We had them all slabbed up, and over the years they have been drying at the back of the property, the side of the property, on the deck, and essentially just, you know, waiting to be crafted into the perfect table, side table shelves. We've been using a couple around the house, and a couple have been photographed and cataloged, so we do have an opportunity to, you know, commission out projects. I say we because I only did the photos, which is the easy job. He'll do the rest. This section here, you're probably like, oh, fill in, get some grass going. We are, but eventually we have decided that we're probably going to be planting some fruit trees here. Right now we have this honeysuckle that needs some TLC, and yeah, she just doesn't really do it for me. I prefer something that also serves a purpose, and the blooms only come in for a very short time, and again, definitely needs some TLC. It was here before my husband moved into the property, so if you have any tips, let us know. I say that like I'm gonna post this. We might. This side here was just what we wanted to keep away from the shop to help with drainage, help with stuff like that, but we have to dress it up. So gooseberries are one of my absolute faves, and you can see we have 2, but this year they are growing in phenomenally. I've already seen so many bumblebees out here. We also got married in this section, so it's just lovely to look back and see our entire garden from every direction. This stump here is just on a piece of concrete. We're going to be moving it eventually, but it's a good seat. And Rocco likes to sit on it. Likewise with that one. We sometimes use it as a table for quick lunches. But I assume everyone is here for the main event, which is this beautiful, luxurious haven for gardening. So I'll kind of take you through what we have. We started with 2 beds, which grew to 4 beds. So we started with that one and that one. And then over the course of last year, we grew this front one and that front one right there. So then this year, super quickly, we popped in that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Animations are overrated. So we also put on 2, I guess you would just call them cold frames. They're not a hoop house. They don't really keep a lot of heat in because they're not weather sealed around the sides. We usually leave these blocks of wood either in here or upright like this to allow some air, or as you can see, completely open them all the time. So a lot of people told me to not plant early, but we've already harvested a couple of these radishes. So these are the cherry bell. You can kind of see them already growing in really, really nicely there. And they're only gonna get plumper. So 3 varieties of radish. This is turnip. We have 3 varieties of beets, random patio tomato, just chilling because that's gonna be a test for what works better, because I have another tray that I kept inside. And then these couple here, they're all carrots. So that is a cold weather root crop bed. At least that's what it's starting with this year. Over here is kind of another test bed. So this one, ooh, she looks a little shabby. Doesn't she look a little shabby? So we wanted to do a couple things. I guess we'll kind of start over here first. So over here, although she's a little dry and could definitely use a water right now, we have a bunch of dill coming up. But on this side here, we didn't really add any other soil, and we wanted to see if kind of what we had from last year was going to be good enough to grow a couple plants. So there's a couple different tests here. You'll see this baby at the back. Truth be told, I'm not really sure if he is a broccoli or a cauliflower, and I'm also not sure if that's some bug damage or if that's frost damage. But he was the first one I put out, and some of him looks good, some of him doesn't look good. Then we just started a couple little seedlings, a couple per hole. I'm really bad at thinning out, so I don't usually do that. It's a fault of mine. But we didn't add anything to this, and it was mostly just tossed together soil, garden scraps, really, really, really bad compost. And we wanted to see if we could still grow things. So that was that test. This is my husband's potato bed. So he has a couple different things going on here, but as you can see, he's a lot more organized at gardening than I am. I won't speak too much on this because quite honestly, I don't remember much. I think it's just planted in rows and 2 different types of potatoes. Likewise, he is trying onions in this bed. Again, very organized with the string. That's not how my brain works. That buddy's empty. This buddy's, you would think, wow, you have a lot growing. Well, these are all volunteers. I'm pretty sure from my research, it's mostly sunflowers and random other garden weeds, complements of squirrels and birds. And to be honest, I haven't planted anything, and this one kind of popped up really crazy, so we left it because it was kind of interesting. This one here, great sprayer by the way. I got that on Amazon for like 30 bucks. Might not be that because, you know, everything's in demand now. This one here, also a ton of volunteers. I did rake up a little bit, but man, they are relentless. Like, look at this. Anyway, we'll go through and we'll amend all of this because there's definitely something we could be adding to the soil, but she's not too bad. This one is a little bit better because this was just soil we got this year. So as you can see, the quality difference for this comparable to what we just had there, way different. You can see the mulch from last year. Obviously you can see all the different greenery bits. This is a lot drier as well, but yeah, amend your soil, kids. And then the only bed that really is a bit more along, I guess. I shouldn't say the only bed. That one's pretty good, but I feel it had a lot more help with the framing. This one has just been exposed to the elements, you could say. So here we essentially have 2 different types of experiments. These aren't different varieties of beans, but they're different experiments. So you would probably say, wow, these ones definitely went out. Not even sure if this is going to come back really well. We got a little bit of new growth here, but a lot of them are in really, really rough shape. But yeah, you would probably think that these 2, because they're the same, went out before those guys. But funny enough, these guys were the first to go out. So not really sure what's going on there. It might have something to do with the size of pots I had before. I'm definitely gonna have to go over all my information because those guys are looking luscious. They're a broad Windsor bean, so I keep calling them dino beans because they get massive, and you take them out and you eat the bean itself, not the actual husk. You can't eat the husk when they're younger, but then they get really, really tough. These guys here are ice sweet pea. 2 are doing great. Same kind of experiment. They went out first. Those ones went out after. And they are doing worse. So very interesting. Very, very interesting. Around here we just have some kale, some Swiss chard, and various types of lettuce and spinach. It's so exciting to me, especially this one. All the little purple leaves coming in. So exciting. On the outside, I have some experiments with some beans and some peas, but I'm gonna say right now, not looking so hot. There's a couple sprouts in there, but quite honestly, I don't think they're the types of sprouts we're looking for. I think I had some leaf mulch on here, a little bit too heavy, and it wasn't the best insulator for what we were trying to do. But that's more or less what's going on here. I know there's tons of noise in the background. We stumbled over words, probably missed a bunch, probably focused on some stuff over other stuff. But dude, this is real life.